I want permission of the other people to 5 minutes. I'll recap last week's session, and please type PG, permission granted, in the chat box. If you missed my last session, don't worry. For the people in the inner community, you will get the recordings. For those who wanted these recordings can come to this upcoming webinar. I'll tell you how to be a part of this inner circle and get access to all these recordings. Okay, these are all amazing, one of the best in the world. If you see the quality of this series of classes, it is the world best, because I've attended multiple people from all over the world. So I can tell you, because I have done this over and over and again in the last more than 2 decades. All right, so calculating the sigma levels, we actually gave some formula to you. We spoke about what is a unit, what is a defect, defect per unit, defect per million, opportunities, and all that, which had amazing. How many of you remember all that? Just type remember in the chat box if you remember. We gave this example of letters, inserting letters, a very simple example. How many of you found this interesting, useful, valuable, awesome, fantastic, all that last time? Okay, great. We spoke about one example. This example I'll just touch upon for 5 minutes and move to the next topic. I didn't want, because I shared an Excel sheet where we calculated and all that. I'm not going to do all that now. So we said there are 30,000 letters that they are sending every day. 30,000 letters every day for 5 days. How many letters are sent? A lot of good mathematicians here. So 150,000 letters in a business week. Okay, let's say Monday to Friday. This is clear. Now, the point here is the marketing department started receiving complaints. Any job you do, you receive complaints, right? Okay, the complaint was this. Look, the envelope is addressed to me, but inside letter is someone else. That's what they said. And so what the marketing department did is, it said, hey, whatever you're going to dispatch, hold on. It took a random sample because they can't check all the 1.5 lakhs. So they took a random sample of 1,000 letters and saw 5 of them had errors. And so a simple calculation. Out of 1,000, if 5 had errors, obviously, with extrapolation, common sense, math tells us that out of 150,000, you will have 750 letters that could have errors. Okay, if this is clear, all of you type SC, super clear, in the chat box. Simple calculation. I'm not complicating anything. We'll get into complicated formulas in our inner circle. Okay, this is, students are there, you know, a lot of audience. So I'm taking a very, very simple example. Now, the letter process, this is called opportunity for error. We are talking about address, the content being wrong, the wrong envelope being put inside, the wrong letter being put inside an envelope. Okay, so the letter has, we call this as opportunity, 150,000 opportunity for error each week, and an estimated of 750 defects, and hence the yield, the correct letters that is sent is 99.5%. For those who are clear, can type SC, super clear, in the chat box. It's a very simple calculation. Out of 150,000, 750 had errors. And so 99.95% is good, that is without errors. That is called as a yield in Six Sigma terminologies. For every yield, there is a sigma value. For every yield percentage, there is a sigma value. And that's what we shared one Excel sheet. I'm not going to share that now, but I'm only going to share that for the yield of 99.18, for the yield of 99.37, for the yield of 99.745, it is 4.3, 4.2, 4.1, 4.0, and 3.9 sigma level. And defects per million opportunity is this. How to calculate this DPMO was done in the last week. So you can access the videos last week. Please, click on this link, register here, and I'll tell you how to access those videos. So in summary, if you want to calculate the Six Sigma, we can calculate by sigma level. If you want to calculate the sigma level, we can calculate through 2 routes. One is to find a DPMO, which we have already done last time, or to find out the yield. So from the yield, you can check the sigma level. From DPMO, you can check the sigma level. Okay, if this is clear on a scale of 1 to 10, please give me a 9 or 10. And if people who are new here, if you don't understand, don't worry about that. It is just that you need to sink into the subject and get a better understanding. Fantastic. And there we are. Now, if you look at the yield of 99.5%, okay, you will see the process described is currently between 4 and 4.1 sigma. Between 4 and 4.1 sigma, you will see the yield of about 99.5%. Now, sigma level is not the final indicator. Okay, sigma level is not the final indicator. Don't think once you have the sigma level, then that is the ultimate. No, sigma level is not the final indicator. Sigma levels provide the organization with a higher level look on how the process is performing. It is just a high level view of the process performance, but it is not the indicator. Now, if you see, every process, every company will have, every industry has different functions, and every function has got multiple processes, correct? So which industry are you from? Just type the name of some industry that you are having. IT industry. IT industry has the coding process or backlog review meeting process, right? You might have a sprint review process. Textile industry. Textile industry will have the manufacturing process, right, from cutting process. Okay, you might have a stitching process, you might have a drying process, you can have this process, that process, right? In construction industry, there can be a fabrication process, there'll be a glazing process. Okay, there is a sort of construction process. Okay, and so BPO, there is a call making process, okay, and so on and so forth. Hospitality industry, the reception, welcoming, onboarding process, the room allocation process, and the restaurant maintenance process and stuff like that. In healthcare industry, even billing process, the OPD process, like even food and beverage section in some of the healthcare industry, F&B process, right? Because when you're admitted in the hospital, they make money out of food and beverages and serve you, right? And pharmaceutical and food and beverages is a additional sources of income for them. So the point that I'm trying to drive here is comparing the sigma levels between multiple processes does not always point out to a particular process an organization should improve. Okay, so this is one clear understanding you should have. So if you have understood this, type US understood in the chat box. I wanted everybody to understand this. Good, thank you. Now, let me go a little deeper. Let us look at a process that might be found in a food processing plant. Okay. Now we are going to take an example of a food processing. Okay. Now this is a dish that normally if you make a pizza like that, what are the process that are involved in making of a pizza? Just let me see in the chat box. What are the process that you make in pizza? Dough making process, baking process, right? Yeah. Mixing process. Okay, cheese, applying the cheese process, heating process, baking process, preparing the topping process, packing process, delivery process. Okay, we will take a few of these processes now for discussion. Okay, we'll take a few of this process for discussion. Now, in one of these food manufacturing, some dish, you will have a topping on the top of it, some decorative element on the top of this food item. Okay, some topping that you put, like in the ice cream, you put the topping like this in the topping. And it also involving packing, shipping. So I'm taking only 3 processes here: attaching a decorative item to the food element, okay, packing the product, and shipping the product. Now, what is the metric? How do you measure attaching a decorative element? How do you measure this? Anyone can just give a guess. How do you measure? What is the metric that you have, whether the topping is right or not? What is the metric you have? Okay, placed correctly. Okay, right. Placed correctly in the center. What is the metric you have for the packing of the product? Shelf life. Okay, packed correctly. Keep it hot. Very good. Keep it hot. No plastic. Fantastic. Nice. Okay, what is the metric you have for shipment of the product? What is the time? Okay, time is very important. Fantastic. I think we've all got right answers. Awesome set of people here. Okay, so the same thing. Performance metrics. The decorative touch is centered on the food product and stable so that it won't fall off in the transit. Okay. The second, packing of the product. The packing is sealed in such a way that remains fresh when it is delivered. Shipping of the product. The product reaches the right customer in a timely manner. Okay. So these are the metrics. So if this is clear, type SC, super clear in the chat box. I'll give some balloons here. Super clear in the chat box. Good. Good. Now, let us see, for each of these processes, there will be a sigma level. For each of the process, there will be a sigma level. Let us see that they have taken a measurement of each of these processes. The first process is 2.2 sigma level. The sigma level is 2.2. The second process has got 3.1 sigma level. And the third process is 4.3 sigma level. Which process? No, this is just understanding of the sigma level. Okay, which sigma level is good? Type that number in the chat box. The higher the sigma level, the better it is. So this is your takeaway from this class. For those who are here for the first time, did not know, your sigma level should go close to 6 sigma. Okay, the lower the sigma level, that means there is a lot of variation in the process. That means the defects are bound to happen. Your process is not in control. The process may not be stable. So you need to bring stability. Then you should bring capability. You should reduce variations. And then your sigma level will increase and go close to 6 sigma. So for those where this was a new learning, type NL in the chat box. I want to know how many of you, because I want everybody to learn something new from the session today. Okay, if there is a new learning, type NL in the chat box. I will teach you in such a simple way so that every session you learn in this. So now, leadership should also consider cost, resources, and estimated impact of these improvements. So if it is 2.2, you should improve 3.1. Now my question to you is, now that you know 4.3 sigma is good, 3.1 sigma is not so good, and 2.2 sigma is very bad, which process should you improve? Please put it in the chat box. If you have to improve, which process should you first improve? Type the name of the process. Okay, naturally, people would say the process with low sigma, right? The process with low sigma is a process that we would want to improve. Now, look at this. At a first glance, sigma level indicates that the process that attaches the decorative element, which is the 2.2 level, needs improvement. While the process that has got highest rate of defects, leadership within the plant would have to ask themselves, how much does that matter to the customer? Does a decorative item matter more to the customer, or packaging matters most to the customer, or shipping matters most to the customer? D or P or S, which matters most to the customer? D, decorative element. P means packaging. Shipping, S means shipping. Which matters most to the customers? If you have to pick one. Okay, many people give different views. Okay. Now, that's what you have to do is, it is likely that most customer will not notice. Okay. It is likely that most customer will notice most is that the product is sealed for freshness and reaches the right location. because you wanted a fresh product. Even if the decorative element is slightly disturbed, that you will not throw away the piece. Okay. But if it is not fresh and if it is spoiled, then you will throw away the piece. So the bad products has to be thrown away, and the most expensive errors might be associated with improper sealed packing. And so the plant is likely to use resources to improve the packing process. How many of you agree with this? Type agree in the chat box. So I'm just giving you, just by seeing the sigma level, don't take decisions to improve a process. Look from the point of view of the customer and then take up the projects. So far, if you found it interesting, valuable, useful, fantastic, awesome, type it in the chat box and let's go ahead with a lot of celebrations, okay? Okay, let's proceed further. So after the packaging process is improved, the plan might now consider whether to improve. So first, they have taken a decision to improve the packaging process. Now the next is, should you improve the decorative process or shipping process? DP or SP? What would you choose? Now that plant has decided packaging process is most important to the customer. Now DP or SP? Okay, let me take you through some interesting questions. Okay, what we have done is, as a part of that consideration, now you and me cannot decide, are not able to decide whether decorative process has to be improved or shipping process has to be improved. Okay. Now what we did is we went for customer survey. Let's ask the customer. Okay. So as a part of consideration, the company might conduct surveys to reveal that some customers have stopped buying the product because of decorative element issues. So we will see the customer survey to see because of what you stopped buying. So there was one analyst like you. There was an analyst who estimates that the loss of sales related to that decorative element was 1,000 a week. And shipping, the loss due to delay in shipping process is 500 a week. So which one would you work on, decorating or shipping? Please type decorating or please type shipping, because decorating is costing $1,000 per week and shipping is costing $500 per week. Which one would you work on? Okay. Now that you have typed decorating because of the cost, there is another consideration you should do. Let me explain you and ask the question again. This is the thinking that I want you to carry today. Should the company address the costlier issue first or the easiest issue first? For example, what if I were to tell you that shipping process could be improved with some staff training sessions, while the decorative process can be improved with an expensive machinery, because the machinery will put right in the center. Which process will you improve first, shipping or decorating? Okay, great. So this is the, okay, shipping, okay. There's a typo mistake that comes. Low-hanging fruits. That's called as a low-hanging fruits, low-hanging opportunity. So we find just by training people, we can enhance even though, and immediately we can stop this loss, whereas it would call for an investment that if you go for this. Okay, so organization have to consider the expense of an investment. Okay, and applying Six Sigma project to all situation is not financially lucrative. See, I'm making a bold statement because I've done a lot of Six Sigma projects. It might take, time and money. So Six Sigma culture is about continuous improvement. And you have to choose based on the example that I've given earlier. You have to choose which is most important to the customer. At the same time, which you can do it easier, and then choose your project. If this is crystal clear, type CC in the chat box. And this is the thinking that I want you to go ahead with. Now let us get into these common Six Sigma principles. All right. There are some common Six Sigma principles, and this is a little bit of theoretical subject, but these principles are very important. If you see leadership style, process management, and improvement endeavors. They have to integrate with the core principles of the organization. So first, customer focus improvement. All of you type CFI in the chat box. So this is one of the very important principle. Customer focused improvements. So every improvement should first focus on the customer. A primary principle is focus on the customer. So the knowledge that you will learn is measurement, statistics, and process improvement measures. What are the metrics? What are the statistical tools that you will use? And what are the process improvement methodologies that will use to make sure that you enhance profit, retain customers, and loyalty? Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, the question is the detailed understanding of the customer and the customer desires. See, we all have to understand customers and customer desires. How many of you agree? Type super agree if you agree. Okay, we all have to understand the customers and their desires, no doubt about it. And it lets the business customize the product offering and services. Once you understand the customer desires and customer, it understands the product offerings and services. Yes or no? Apart from that, what all that it helps is what you'll have to think and type. Okay. We all know understanding customers, customer desires will let you customize the product offering, will let you customize the services, but it also helps in other things. What are the things? I'm not going to reveal that slide to you. I wanted some discussions in the chat box. Apart from fine-tuning your product offering and services, what all it will help you? That is understanding of the customer and customer desirement. What all does it help you? Increasing the market share, relationship with the customer. Okay, that is fine. What else? Upselling. Okay, upselling. Everybody is towards sales now. Branding, brand value, CRM, future support, anticipated risks, respect with the customer, competitive advantage, market niche. Okay, there are a lot of things that you have put. Let me put forward. It will help you offer additional features that the customer wants and are willing to pay for it. Okay, if you understand the customer, they might be willing to pay extra for some additional features. And you can prioritize your product development. You will be developing a lot of product. Okay, so you can prioritize your product development needs. And based on the customer feedback, you can develop new ideas. And based on the customer feedback and understanding of the customer, you can see what is the changing trends in the market. I think some of you have put that in the chat box. Of course, we can identify the area of concerns and we can prioritize the current work challenges to align with those activities which can actually alleviate customer pain. Okay, and you can test the solutions and ideas before investing time and money in them. So far, if it is clear, type. If you agree to all this, type agree in the chat box with a lot of E in the end. Okay, with a lot of E in the end. So that you agree a lot. Okay. Okay, how many of you are ready for question and answer session? How many of you are ready for Q&A? Type ready in the chat box. Let's go for a Q&A. Because I thought these things I'll also impregnate some of the Q&As so that becomes a sort of a recall for you. And the same Q&A, I will also put it in my quiz in the certification examination. Question. The question is, all of you be ready, okay? What are some of the advantages that come from detailed customer understanding and their desires? The first one, simplify product offering and reduce customization. How many of you type yes or no? Simplify product offering and reduce customization. There are a lot of yes and no. Okay, second, neglect feedback and ideas. Definitely no. Everybody will type no. Okay, the third one is prioritize the product development based on historical data. If it is strong no, you can type with N with a lot of O's. And if it is strong yes, you can type yes with a lot of s's. Okay. Look at this is how our thinking. Offer additional features, develop ideas, understand market, prioritize work based on customer service. Okay. Now there is a lot of S that is coming in. Okay. So what is the correct answer? A, B, C, D. Which is the correct answer? So most of you say D. So the D, which is offer features, develop new ideas, understand the correct, this thing is the right answer. Super. Okay. All right. Let us look at what I call it as a value stream. Value stream is a very important concept. I have a separate session on value stream mapping. I'm going to give a very high level view of what is value stream. Value stream is nothing but a sequence of all the items, events, and people required to produce the end results. Okay. What do you see on the screen? What do you see on the screen? And if you really love this, for those who love this, give a love emoticon. Who like this? Okay. Okay, right. Now, if you want to make this hot dog with ketchup, what would it include? Okay. Now you can type all the things that is required to manufacture this. Whoever knows can type, whoever does not know can just observe the chat box. Okay. Now you are going to make this hot dog. What are you need? You need a piece of bread, you need hot dog, you need sausage, you need chili, you need chicken and water, mustard, condiments, bread. Okay, nobody's saying we need people, we need machinery. I will also, whatever that, you need a supplier, hot dog supplier, you need a bun supplier, you need a ketchup supplier. First, you need suppliers. All of you type supplier in the chat box. And all of you type customer in the chat box. You need a customer, you need a supplier, you need a process. All of you type process in the chat box. You need a supplier, you need a customer, you need a process, and all of you put information in the chat box. Great. So these are the components of value stream that I'm going to share with you. Now, let's go a step further. Hot dog supplier, bun supplier, ketchup supplier, hot dogs, buns, ketchups, items. Okay, these are raw materials. Tongs, someone to cook, a plate, someone to put the hot dog in the bun, just indicator. Okay, someone to put the ketchup in the hot dog, someone to put. So one person who is putting the hot dog into the bun, one person who is putting the ketchup on the hot dog, one person who is put the completed hot dog onto the plate, and one person who is going to, serve this to the customer. Now, if you see this, what is the first process? Type in the chat box. What do you see first? Take the order. Second, the order is in, the inventory of the order. The third one is get the order. The fourth one is put the bun. Look at the way that is mapped, okay? And then the fifth one is, if he needs another hot dog, do it again. The sixth one is put the order out. Is the order okay? Then add beverage along with that, deliver to the customer. Then again set up and clean. So you can see that three components here. One is there are suppliers, there is a process, there is a customer, there is information, there is a timeline. Now, if you combine all these processes into a pictorial form of exactly how these elements become a served hot dog, then you have a value stream map. Okay. There is a style to this value stream map. Okay. There is three important components of value stream map. Three important, you can divide that entire A3 size of paper into three components. The top one is called as information flow. All of you please take a lot of notes. Okay. This is a very high level overview. Information flow. All of you type IF in the chat box. Information flow. And in the middle is a process flow. All of you type PF in the chat box. Some people call material flow. I call that as a process flow. And the bottom one is called as TL, which is the timeline. So it consists of three components. which is a information flow, a process flow, and the timeline at the bottom. Okay, now, all of you, please listen. Okay, please pay attention. This particular symbol is a customer, and this blue color factory-like symbol is a supplier. And if you see, these boxes are all process flows, okay? And the bottom is the timeline. I'm not going to explain this in detail. And this middle one is called as the information flow. A quick overview, even if you don't understand it, I'll give you an overview. The customer gives orders to the factory, where the production planning control department takes the order and distribute it to the individual process on what they have to do. And based on the inventory, it will order on the supplier so that the process is smooth and does not become a stock out to service the customer. And you have inventory, which is a triangle, which is represented triangle after each and every process. And bottom is a timeline, which says each process, how much time it takes, and overall process, how much time it takes. Okay, this is a very high level overview of a value stream map, which I will teach for 8 hours. Okay, all of you type wow in the chat box. I teach value stream mapping for 8 hours. Okay, and this is a high level view. So if you don't understand, just get a feel of this so that when we go depth of it, then you will understand it later. Okay, now the purpose of determining the value stream of the process is that you can identify where in the information flow, where in the material flow that we are spending time, wasting time, and where we really have to improve so that the flow can be smooth. And what are the improvement projects to be done? Should I improve the efficiency of the machines? Should I improve the skill of the people? Should I improve the layout of the workplace so that I can deliver, I can give high quality and the right product at high quality, world-class quality at a faster rate? Okay. So in the above process, you can ask the questions. Are the 4 different people putting the hot dogs together and serving it? 4 people are used, each one doing the same thing, or one person, can he do all the 4 tasks? These are the questions we can ask. So is a supplier a single grocery, or do you have items from various stores? All of it will make a difference, right? All of them will make a difference. How many of you agree? Just type agree in the chat box. Different ways of doing business, right? Different way of doing a process. All of you will be different, right? And also here, you can say, do you get saving benefits to offset the added time spent with multiple suppliers? So you can see which one is better. One person doing all the 4 tasks is better, or 4 persons, 4 different persons doing is better. Buying from one grocery store is better, or multiple grocery stores is better, and so on and so forth. So these are some examples of the questions that you can reveal and answer during value stream mapping. And if you found today's session interesting, useful, valuable, fantastic, awesome, put it in the chat box. Okay. And we will continue from here in the next session.